This week on LCARA Ham Radio, we're going to take a look at the Bofang UV-9r Plus. This HT is water resistant, somewhere around IP67, although the documentation said 57, and I don't even know what that means. We're also going to take a look at the accessories and how would somebody program this particular HT because it has a different interface on the side. This week on LCARA Ham Radio. Alrighty, so we're going to take a look at the Bofang UV-9r Plus. Now, this is not a new model. It's new to myself, and I thought, well, this is supposedly water resistant, so let's take a look. And as Chris is doing his best Vanna White here, anti-dust. Well, sure, and it's supposed to be waterproof, but we all know that waterproof is one of those legal terms that can be fudged, but we'll say water resistant. Now, the box has a number of items on it. It kind of goes into some of the features and whatnot, but the documentation on the inside, which we'll show you the little pamphlet, says it's IP57. I don't know what IP57 is, but it's supposedly IP67, and that will make it water resistant. Now, we're looking at the manual, and we're going to pull out the HT here, wrapped in its nice little cellophane bag, and it's a little bit different looking if you've seen other Bofangs. Plus, we've got the battery here, lithium ion, and pretty standard fare here as we do this quick little unboxing. Chris and I are not really big into unboxings, but we wanted to show you everything that came with this radio, because everybody probably should have at least one of these radios, since it does seem to have some of the protection against the environmental elements. So we had the rubber ducky antenna, or as some people like to call it, a dummy load, and then we've got a belt clip. We've got a nice little Merc kit strap. We've got the headset, and as we'll see a little bit later, this radio, to get its IP67 rating, uses a different setup for the microphone and the headset. Here's our base for charging, and of course the wall wart. Now, the newer Bofangs are starting to move to USB. This is an older model. Again, this is not a new radio that's still using the wall wart. And that's everything in the box primarily. So that's a quick unboxing, if you will. But again, most of these Bofangs are very similar in what you get in the box. And then we couldn't quite figure out what this was, but a little piece of plastic there, maybe for some kind of a label. Alrighty, so we're going to wrap up the unboxing, if you will, and we're going to start taking a look at some of the components. So here's our beauty shot, and you can see it does come with the rubber ducky there in the center. Not going to be the best on send and receive. Most people will upgrade that antenna almost immediately. And the other thing, when we were looking to do this particular video, we wanted to dunk this in some water to see if it will actually be water resistant. And we thought about using a different antenna, because almost everybody replaces the antennas that come with these radios with either you know, some type of a Bree antenna maybe, or some of the other Nagoyas that are out there. They'll do a much better job. But we wanted to utilize the antenna that came with the radio simply because it is probably tested for water resistance with this antenna. And so that's definitely something we're going to test as a part of this video. Button layout's a little bit different. It doesn't have the AB option, switching between channel mode and VFO, so you have to learn how to turn it on pressing the menu button. Some other items that are a little bit different with this keypad. Digital mobile radio. Yeah. It does DCS tones. That's about as digital as it gets. It doesn't do Fusion, DStar, or DMR. Now, this is that side access area. You'll notice it doesn't have the little rubber covering, which usually would house the earphone and microphone jacks.
This is KY4CKP testing this new Baofeng UV-9r. Is anybody able to receive me? I'm outside the building now.
KY4 GPD, I heard you say you were on an outside
So, we tested the radio, we programmed it with one of the local repeaters, and we got somebody to come back to us. So we know the radio works. It will program manually. Again, we'll get into programming a little bit later. Now, what we're showing you here is we are dunking this into the water, and we wanted to put it in there for 30 minutes. So a 30-minute dunk is what it says it is rated for. 1 meter for 30 minutes. We didn't have to go a full meter, but we did do the full 30 minutes just to see if this will in fact be dust and water resistant. Again, IP67 is what it is rated for. And as you can see here, the clock is just spinning away as quickly as we could do 30 minutes in a video that won't lose your attention. But kind of fun to do a test like this. You don't spend a lot on a Baofeng, so you figure, why not? Let's dunk it in some water. Now, we don't know if it's like 30 minutes for the lifetime of the radio, or if we could do this multiple times. All right, so now we have it dried off, and we're just checking the buttons. Will it power on? Will it change into menu mode? Can we program to a different channel? Can we turn on the radio? Those kinds of things. And it seemed to work just fine. We did check on an FM station. Hopefully we won't get a content match on YouTube. Now, how would you go about programming this radio? Well, it has to keep it IP67, they had to use a different interface for the mic and the earphone jack. And you can see it utilizes those pin pads to do that. And the Bluetooth programmer that we did a review on earlier will not work in this situation because there are no jacks for it. So we are left with the adapter that comes with the earphone mic headsets that come with the radio. You can also get programming cables that will use that same setup. And speaking of a cable and or programming, this is the RT Systems version, the BAO-9R. The good thing about buying RT Systems package is that it comes with the cable. You can actually buy the software separately or the cable separately, but here you can get everything and it'll be $49. Now, some people will look at that and go, well, that's awfully expensive, but you got to keep in mind you're getting the perfect cable for the programming. There's no guessing which cable you're supposed to get, which sometimes happens if you're trying to use other programming, is getting just the right cable. With RT Systems, you are guaranteed to get a cable and the software that will work in programming this particular radio. And then if we move on to say, well, I still want to use Chirp, well, they do sell a cable. Baofeng sells a cable that allows you to do programming for this particular radio. Again, you can see the pins there in the top left corner that are in use for programming, and this will allow you to program your radio utilizing a program like Chirp. So the cable does exist. We have not tested this cable, but hopefully coming from the Baofeng store, it will work as advertised. The description does say that it will work as a programming cable for this radio, but again, you would need to make sure and test that out. And it does mention Chirp as well in the description. So I'm reasonably confident this programming cable would work. There could be other options, but we haven't tested those. So to finish out our video, we have dunked or put a radio into a 30-minute bath. It seemed to come out on the other side just fine, which we were pretty happy about. Would that work for every radio that they sell? Well, maybe, but at least in our tests, it did work. And so again, everybody should have one of these. You're going to be out in inclement weather. You might be boating or something like that. This would be a good radio to have on your person just in case. I'm KY4 BDP for the Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association 73.